Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So one of my favorite things about the first three Spyro games has to be the levels. From the creative and unique level designs, to Stuart Copeland's masterpiece of a soundtrack that accompanies them, to the fact that there are dragons with awesome facial hair. And the Spyro Reignited Trilogy took all of that and added a gorgeous new coat of paint. But despite these games containing some amazing levels, there are a couple that I'm not the biggest fan of. So I thought it'd be fun to go through the top 5 best and worst levels in the Spyro Reignited Trilogy. In my opinion, anyways. So let's start with the worst list, and at the number 5 worst level in the Spyro Reignited Trilogy, we have Lost Fleet from Year of the Dragon. Now the theme of Lost Fleet I always thought was really cool. It's essentially a haunted shipyard with a hidden treasure and a bunch of spooky baddies trying to scare you off from getting to the treasure. But in execution, Lost Fleet has always been more meh than anything else really, at least to me. Going through the main part of the level, assisting Crazy Ed to the treasure is fine, but the exploration and missions throughout this level I feel like are the parts that are lacking. The egg missions, where you pilot the sub and try to take out the other subs by maintaining a target on them for a few seconds, can be pretty tedious and annoying at times. Not to mention you have to do it twice. Also, navigating through the acid in order to collect gems as well as find a secret egg can be pretty annoying too. You need the invincible power-up to swim in the acid, so you only have a little bit of time, and if you accidentally get turned around, you'll need to jump out and make your way back to the power-up and try again. I know that's probably a bit of a nitpick, but for me, it makes exploring the level more tedious than fun. Now to kick things off for the best list, at number 5 we have Ice Cavern from Spyro the Dragon. A level I always thought looked really cool in the original PlayStation 1 version, but in Reignited it always hits me how gorgeous this level looks. The sight of stone buildings intertwined with ice and snow with gems shimmering in the distance, it's just awesome. And it's just a fun level to explore, whether you're dodging snowballs thrown by Norks, or gliding into the unknown, or picking up gems as you traverse this majestic landscape while listening to one of my favorite Spyro tunes. Ice Cavern is an easy choice to me for the top 5. Now at number 4 on the worst list, we have Robotica Farms, which you could probably guess by the name is a farm run by robots. And what's a robot farm without a bunch of overgrown robot bugs? And these overgrown robot bugs are part of the reason this level makes the bottom list. They are far from the hardest enemies you'll encounter, but I think you could make an argument for them being some of the most annoying in the entire trilogy. Especially the robot bees that shoot their stinger at you. They just hover so awkwardly, making it a pain to take them out. And don't even get me started with the flying vermin that will respawn if you don't defeat all of them quickly enough. And then of course there's the famous Supercharging the Pumpkin's Orb challenge. Now this orb challenge isn't necessarily hard as much as it is annoying. There are plenty of tight turns and there's very little time to anticipate which direction you need to go at such a fast speed, meaning that you're likely to fall off the course. And then you gotta make your way back to the supercharged starting point and give it another go. This leads to tediously charging your way through the level over and over again until you get all the pumpkins. All in all, there's little fun to find in this level for me. It's just annoying. Now this might be the nostalgia talking, but I have to bring up Dark Hollow from Spyro 1 in any top 5 list of Spyro levels. This level might be like the most nostalgic anything for me in like life. But if there's one word I could use to describe this level, it would be magical. The tune that Stuart Copeland wrote for this level evokes such a feeling of peace and calm, yet with an excitement and magic that blends into an overwhelmingly amazing atmosphere while exploring this realm under the moonlit sky. And in the Reignited Trilogy, the underground section was turned into a library, which was such a great choice, and fits the feeling of this level perfectly. It's a short and rather simple level, and that's ultimately why it's here at number 4 as opposed to number 1, but it's always a pleasure to revisit this realm every time I play Spyro 1. At number 3 for the worst list, we have Agent 9's Lab from Spyro 3. Now of all the companions we help out in Spyro 3, on personality alone, Agent 9 is arguably my favorite. Unfortunately, that's not enough to make up for what ends up being a very underwhelming level. Ultimately, the placement of this level on the worst list can be boiled down to the fact that I just don't find the Agent 9 gameplay style that fun. It's essentially like a third-person shooter where you have a laser blaster and are strafing around taking out enemies. There are also some first-person sections as well, but those are even more annoying in my opinion. It's just such a stark difference in playstyle from everything we're used to up to this point in Spyro 3, and the playstyle itself just didn't click that well for me either. Now at number 3 on the best list, we have Desert Ruins from Year of the Dragon. You know, the one with a Tomb Raider reference and a Crash Bandicoot reference in the same level? That's pretty cool. But what really makes Desert Ruins stand out to me is the environment. You have a dry, sandy landscape with pools of acid scattered amongst this terrain that pour out of these epic marble structures, and it's just really fun to explore. Finding secret caves and gliding to areas off in the distance, it's just a satisfying level to run around in. You also have some really fun egg missions in this level, like getting to have a side-scrolling experience as Sheila, as well as ride on a manta ray that Hunter has rigged up to fire projectiles in an attempt to take out all the Rhinox that are riding on robot sharks. Between the feeling of exploration this level provides and the fun challenges throughout, that's enough for me to put it in the top 3. And for the runner-up on the worst list, we have Sergeant Bird's Base from Year of the Dragon. Another companion level from Spyro 3 makes the bottom 5 for me, but whereas the Agent 9 gameplay style just didn't click with me, I don't mind Sergeant Bird's. My problem is more so how it mixes with the level design. Sergeant Bird's whole thing is how he can fly all over a level, and a lot of Sergeant Bird's base is very confined with many narrow hallways and corridors. It almost feels like a bird trapped in a cage, which I wouldn't be surprised if that was kind of the point of the level, but all the same, it makes for a level that isn't very fun to play. Even when you get to the last part of the level where you can fly around a little more, it still feels so limiting. I think in other levels that Sergeant Bird appears in, they do a much better job of tailoring to his gameplay setup, but just not here. While I know there's a split opinion on this one, I've always loved Treetops from Spyro 1. So much so that it makes the number 2 spot on my best list. It's not the easiest level to navigate through, but I've always thought it was so cool to have to methodically think your way through this level to get to certain areas, needing to combo supercharges together to get to a high enough speed and height. And I guess for me the difference between Treetops and other levels that I've mentioned that are tedious is that in Treetops I always felt a really rewarding feeling when I would figure out how to do something. Figuring out which supercharged ramps you need to combo off of to get to that one lone dragon in the distance led to such a feeling of accomplishment that really wasn't there with, say, supercharging pumpkins, if you know what I mean. Now for the worst level in the Spyro Reignited Trilogy, we have Fracture Hills from Ripto's Rage. The enemies in this level can be really annoying, especially the bushes that try and eat you, which give me some serious nightmare flashbacks to Misty Bog from Spyro 1. The Earth Shapers aren't as annoying compared to a lot of the enemies we've talked about in this video so far, but having to slowly aim your charge and knock them into the lava can be such an abrupt feeling when you're trying to explore this level. But the ultimate reason this level is the worst is the freaking Alchemist. Because who doesn't love an escort mission where the NPC takes the most long-winding, nonsensical path possible to the destination? Essentially, the Alchemist is trying to get a potion to Hunter whose feet have been turned to stone because of an attempt by the Alchemist to give him golden boots. Anyways, you gotta charge the Earth Shapers along the path to keep them from attacking the Alchemist while keeping up with the Alchemist's constant fake-outs in which direction he's going, and if he gets hit a single time, you gotta start it all over again. It's tedious, it's annoying, it's not fun, and it makes this level the worst in the Reignited Trilogy to me. For the top spot on the best list at number 1, we have Mystic Marsh from Spyro 2. In Mystic Marsh, there's a fountain that keeps all of the wildlife calm that accidentally gets turned off by a napping lizard, and now you have to navigate this open terrain filled with interesting creatures to turn the fountain back on. And that's one of the things I love most about this level is how open it feels. It's probably one of the least linear levels in the entire trilogy. Also, this level has some pretty interesting enemies. You have shell elephants, rhino snails, and even these kangaroo thieves. I know that catching these kangaroo thieves can be a little annoying, but I guess I never minded it as much because it just leads to running around this gorgeous level even more. This challenge is also pretty fun on New Game Plus because you can snipe the kangaroo thieves from a distance with the permanent Super Flame power-up you get from Dragon Shores. For me, this is the perfect Spyro level, and well deserving of the top spot. Well, that's my list for the top 5 best and worst levels in the Spyro Reignited Trilogy. Comment down below and let me know what some of your favorite Spyro levels are. Remember to give this video a like because 1 like equals 1 less trouble with the trolley. And be sure to subscribe for more videos. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.